I'm LeBron James from Akron, Ohio, from the inner city. I'm not even supposed to be here.
I'm about to get ready to do a very deep breakdown concerning LeBron James. And obviously, we all grew up watching son, what do the whole thing before our eyes. Like, this man played a huge role before our eyes. And you know what I mean? Like, it's no sense, because I already know how LeBron James fans are, because I used to be heavy into defend him as well. But what I want to talk about is like the whole thing. This ain't nothing to do with no hating, man. This is real serious wisdom I'm about to lay on y'all right quick, because what I want to talk about before I delve into him is obviously in the book of Maccabees, First Maccabees 14 through 15, and in the aspect of with the whole aspect of the Romans and how they always use the sports for like high level sense of frequencies of like keeping the people dumped down into worshiping these idol gods, and in the aspect of mockery and blaspheming the name of the Most High. And as it's written, so they built a gymnasium in Jerusalem according to the Gentile custom, and removed the marks of circumcision and abandoned the holy covenant. They joined with the Gentiles and sold themselves to do evil. Now, what I want to delve into right quick, and this whole theme is LeBron James, obviously from Akron, Ohio. You feel where I'm going, and which is a very significant place, because when you understand the book of First Samuel, as it's written in First Samuel 5:10, as the ark of God was entering Akron, the people of Akron cried out, "They have brought the ark of the God of Israel around us to kill us and our people." So they called together all the rulers of the Philistines and said, "Send the ark of the God of Israel. Let it go back to its own place, or it will kill us and our people. For death had filled the city with panic. God's hand was very heavy on it, and those who did not die were afflicted with tumors, and the outcry of the city went up to heaven." Now, when you understand the whole aspect of the Ark of the Covenant, remember during the time back then, it was when they stole the whole thing from Israel and was traveling with it, and then they was getting judged for doing so until they had to obviously, surrender it back. And what I want to delve into right quick, which is a very serious theme on why LeBron James had to form that big three out in South Beach. You feel what I'm saying? Because when you understand this whole thing, obviously LeBron James go by King James. And when they did this pushed a high frequency that messed with our simulated reality, because when they do this thing, they take what is righteous and they corrupt it and use it so their reality can be obviously flourish and be prosperous, and while the ones who are on the righteous side suffer because of it, because they become the oppressed now. So practically like building heaven on earth, in a more simpler way of saying it. But when you understand King James, notice why he had to join up with Dwayne Wade, and why he had to join up with Chris Bosh. Now, I want to delve into that Ark of the Covenant some more right quick, because when you understand the aspect of the Wade, this is some serious stuff, man. And Joshua 3, right, in 3:8, as it's written, "Thou shalt command the priests that bear the Ark of the Covenant, saying, When ye are come to the brink of the water of Jordan, ye shall stand still in the Jordan." AKA meaning nothing but to wade in the water. I'm pretty sure everybody heard that gospel song before, "Wade in the Water." When you understand that this stuff is that deep, because this whole thing represented nothing but the aspect of crossing into the promised land. This remember they joined, what was it, 2010, but they won their first ring like 2011, 2012 year. And when you understand that, that was a high push. 'Cause remember, that was during the Obama era, right before Obama's term was ending, before he did that the second term. But when you understand that, this stuff literally elevated them into the promised land aspect, where it helped push everything even further, because they use sports to reel in their agenda, man, on a high level. And to do it with the Super Bowls, I'm about to do a whole series on all of this. But LeBron, remember, he joined up with Chris Bosh. Now, when you understand Chris Bosh, remember Chris Bosh played for what? The Toronto Raptors back then, aka the Beast, the Dragon, like Mark of the Beast, the Dragon aspect. And what I want to talk about, obviously, Chris is short for what? Christ. You know what I mean? For the Messiah, who you call Christ. But when you understand the whole theme of this with Chris Bosh, notice how he came from the aspect of the beast and joined up with what? LeBron James and Wade out there in Miami. Because what I want to talk about, his last name Bosh, literally don't mean nothing but the lower part of a blast furnace. The hollow iron or the brick sides of the bed of the furnace. or the boiling furnace. That's all it means. And when you understand Revelation 1:15, as it's written about the Messiah, aka the Son of God, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they were burnt in the furnace. So this right here was them really illuminating and reaching, pushing a high frequency for the whole theme of the Antichrist that's going on. You feel what I'm saying? With all of the laws and everything that's been established since then, the technological advancement, just pay attention. Now, everything came into fruition because it's just written, the word becomes flesh. Hint King James. You feel that King James Bible, word becomes flesh? This stuff is literally, is no joke, man. And when you connect the dots, what I want to talk about right quick too, and I know everybody remember this right here, the whole theme of the Cavaliers versus Warriors. And I'm going to delve into this right quick because I did a breakdown already about Kyrie. I need to put that in the link. I'm going to put that in the description below. And the same thing with about Stephen Curry. But when you know about Stephen Curry, the name Stephen comes from what? The martyr who was killed during the time of in the book of Acts. Remember when he was stoned, he had saw the heavens open, and then the Son of God was on the right hand side. Remember that. And then when you understand Klay Thompson, Klay, like how Adam obviously, the Adam aspect represents like the man being formed out of the clay, going back to the word becoming flesh. This is why they had the battle against King James. I'm gonna delve into this. And Draymond means nothing but heart and soul. You feel what I'm saying? And when you understand that Draymond anyway, I want to delve into him. He was actually a second round 35th pick. And what's so deep about that is when you understand the aspect of the pyramid. You remember I was talking about that, how they like to how they love to knock off, the capstone. Remember I was talking about that because the Messiah, aka the Lewis stone, is the headstone that they like to remove so that the builders can establish their kingdom. They refuse to use him because they already know that they want to use the power of righteousness for evil. You feel what I'm saying? So that they can remove him from being the headstone. Hint the whole aspect of why the pyramid don't have the headstone, just the all-seeing eye. But going back to to Draymond Green, he was a second round 35th pick. When you understand 235, it's like the northern shaft of the Great Pyramid is 235 feet, right? The air shaft. And when you know about that, all the air shaft do is it like literally ventilates to where it basically can be like a window to like the North Star. You feel what I'm saying? And what I want to talk about is that whole theme. This is why they do the whole aspect of the sagging. You feel what I mean? Because when you understand Orion's belt, as it's written, the Most High said that he said in Amos 5:8 that he created the Pleiades and the Orion's belt. You know what I'm saying? And when you understand that the Orion's belt connects right to the top of the pyramid, that's why they want the top of the pyramid gone, and that's why they want sagging and everything, because that's the way for like the Messiah aspect want reach the North Star. That's this how they think, to be ahead of the altar, to be the top of the altar. Hint why in Genesis 50, you remember Joseph had Jacob embalmed. Remember in Egypt. Like this stuff all connects, man, and there's no way around this stuff. And what I want to talk about right quick, that's why they had to get to Draymond Green, because pay attention, going back to it again, King James, word becomes flesh, aka Klay Thompson, and then you have Stephen Curry witnessing the Son of God on the right hand side of the throne in the heavens. You feel what I'm saying? And Draymond, remember, he was the major piece that connected everything, because when you understand the aspect of Big Three anyway, that's nothing but talking about nothing but Trinity. You feel what I mean? And like I was talking about before, to go back to the aspect I forgot to mention, and I actually mentioned it on my Kyrie video, but remember, Kyrie obviously was a Cavalier. And remember, LeBron James came back home to win the title with him. But when you remember this, I was talking about on my video about Kyrie, how King Charles represent the son of Kyrie Irving. I mean, of King James, I'm sorry. Because all the Cavalier is nothing but a whole supporter of King Charles, which was nothing but the son of King James. And they do this stuff because, like I said, this is to keep their land prospering. This is to keep their kingdom prospering. And what I want to talk about, which is no mistake, y'all, it's no mistake, is how Golden State ended up. Remember when LeBron beat them that final time? What was it? The game, I think this is third time they played. Remember LeBron James? Remember they played June 19th, 2016, that's when LeBron won his first title for Cleveland, and that's King James of the Bible's birthday, June 19th. But just to go back to the whole thing with Kevin Durant and Kevin Love, notice why both of them had a Kevin to form, like, Kevin Durant came. Remember Draymond got Kevin Durant because they needed to go into a higher level and like to literally overcome LeBron James again. And remember Kevin Love was already, remember he was chosen to form the big three anyway. And when you understand Kevin Durant, both of them are Kevin, you know what I mean? And notice one is black and one is white. This is all duality. And when you understand the whole thing, remember Saint Kevin in the aspect of the Catholics, you feel what I'm saying? Remember Saint Kevin was the one who was practically out there, spreading the word and all of this, playing all of this stuff going to the religious aspect, and I ain't delving into that, but I'm talking about like how all of this, how they use these things for and just talking about it, like how basically Saint Kevin was the one used to like lead people and raise up saints and all of that, and a sense of salvation. You feel what I'm saying? But I want to talk about this right quick. That's why they both had to get him. This is some serious stuff, man. Serious conscious stuff. Because when you understand Kevin Love, remember he played for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And what I want to talk about right quick is when you know about the timber wolf, aka the Messiah, is like the lone wolf. Remember, as it's written in with the tribe of Benjamin, how they're seen as the ravenous wolf, the ravenous wolf. And remember how the wolf will blow down the three pigs' house. You know what I mean? I'm gonna delve into this right quick. Remember how he always blow the house? He was destroying everything until they finally found bricks so that they couldn't be no longer destroyed. Because when you understand that, remember the Babel Tower got destroyed by the flood. You know what I'm saying? In a sense of, shifting the language and destroying the one world order during the time of Genesis. But what I want to talk about with the three pigs right quick, hint why, in scripture, how the Messiah, aka the Son of God, how he said the demon said, drive us out and send us into the herd of the pigs. So them building up the house aspect represented them saying, okay, look, we got our one world order going. So now you won't be able to bring us down again. That's why Obama's like they came back stronger. And how is that? Because notice how now they using the power of this to push their agenda, man, and literally keep their kingdom going. This is why sports are very serious. And you remember Durant played for OKC Thunder before he went to Golden State. Because as it's written anyway, the Son of Man shall what? The Son of Man shall cometh out of the east to the west. You feel where I'm going with this? This is why LeBron James had to beat the OKC Thunder. Because all of that represented was like the fire and lightning. You know what I mean? Remember I was talking about the whole aspect of the brass, the brass furnace. When I was talking about the big three with the Bosch and the whole aspect of LeBron James, with the big three with Wade and everything to cross into the promised land, all of this stuff is that real, man, and it's no joke. And I'm actually gonna play a clip right quick from a commercial where it's called Incline to Recline, which is meaning nothing but basically preparing the fall of the kingdom. I'm gonna play the clip and chime in. Notice this.
Dad, Billy put golf balls in the leaf.
Notice how he said Billy put golf balls in the leaf blower again. Because when you understand the golf ball goes where? Into the earth. You feel what I'm saying? And you use the club, to play golf. And you notice that anyway. That's why like a lot of the players play golf, like Bosch, Curry, all of those guys are playing like Obama and everything. Because when you understand how he said that Billy put golf balls in the leaf blower again, when you understand the leaf blower represents nothing but the whole scheme of how everything flows in this whole system through the Kabbalah tree. You feel that the whole order of the Kabbalah, where they do all of these things, this high level of consciousness. Like Phil Jackson, for instance, used the Kabbalah. A lot of them high level coaches and everything all use the Kabbalah. And hint why he said Billy, got the golf balls and a leaf blower again, because when you understand that anyway, as it's written in Exodus 3:14, the Most High told Moses that I am that I am. Because when you understand Billy is short for what? William, the will of I am, the will of God. That's all it's saying. And I want to tap higher into this right quick, because what I want to talk about Remember, LeBron James got injured by Solomon Hill in Atlanta. Now, when you understand the whole aspect of the Solomon, remember Solomon was the reason for Israel's kingdom to split into two, becoming a north and southern kingdom, right? And when you understand Atlanta, remember Atlanta just had the All-Star game too out there with LeBron James and Curry and them. But when you understand the whole aspect of the Atlanta, hint why, as it's written All-Star, as it's written the stars of heaven shall fall and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. Remember the Most High already said Israel is as the stars. You feel what I'm saying? And notice the whole theme of Israel falling by, as like stars falling out of heaven. Hence why they did this whole ritual, because they was trying to say that, okay, they trying to, mislead as many people as they can and disrupt Israel again and keep them disrupted and split so that the branch won't come together, so the Messiah won't come into ruling. Remember, he is divine and we are the branches. You feel what I'm saying? This stuff is all together, man, and there's no way around it. And what I want to show you, notice how he got that leg injury out in Atlanta, right? And I want to show you this too. What I noticed, and it caught my eye, notice the clock is literally when he get the injury, before he get the injury.
LeBron James is going to go down with an injury.
Notice the clock is at 14 seconds. Now, when I went back to 2000 with Kobe, I'm going to do a deep part on Kobe. Remember, Kobe had got the leg ankle injury against Jalen. Remember, Jalen Rose gave him the ankle injury.
Replay what happened in the NBA Finals.
Notice it's 14 seconds, just like LeBron, and they both got high ankle injuries. And notice this is in Atlanta, right? Let's go back to 2013 when Kobe was playing against Atlanta, right? Pay attention to this.
He's one-on-one with Dante Jones. Bryant.
He got the ankle injury in this game, and he ended up losing the game, just like LeBron and them ended up losing against the Hawks. And the guy who hurted him name was Dante Jones. And in 2016, Dante Jones ended up helping LeBron win the title, man. Well, he was on the bench, but he was still on that championship team. Notice how all of this stuff comes together. I'm about to delve even deeper, man. What I want to talk about is why LeBron had to go to South Beach. Remember that I was talking about the whole theme of the capstone that they trying to keep off by doing these rituals and by playing the whole aspect of making the word become flesh in the sense of, using it for uncleanliness and for evil to keep their kingdom going. As it's written anyway, when you know about the whole aspect of the Bermuda Triangle, notice that it points at the Gulf of Mexico and it points at Florida, right at the South Beach, because all the capstone is like the aspect of the Messiah sense. And I did a breakdown about this on my Amelia Earhart Part 1 video. I'm going to put that in the link too. But notice how it's pointing at the Gulf of Mexico where all the oil is. And when you understand the whole aspect of the oil is what? The Christ, aka anointing oil. You feel what I mean? And going back to the Gulf aspect, that's why he said, I'm taking my talents to South Beach. Remember I said he left Akron, which was just like in the scriptures, where all the chaos was happening with the Ark of the Covenant when they was stealing it, and then how he ended up going to like the sense of joining D Wade so that he can get into the promised land aspect. Remember how they was already talking about, they always use that in sports, we're going to take you to the promised land. You feel what I'm saying? But notice, going back to the aspect of the Gulf, as it's written with the Messiah, the Most High says that, and beside all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf. And when you remember back in Genesis, remember the Most High said, let us make man in our image. So this stuff is no joke, man. I'm about to delve even deeper into this because, as you know anyway, South Beach obviously has the palm tree. Hence, as it's written, the righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. You feel what I mean? And they shall flourish in the courts of our God. You feel what I'm saying? This is why, too, when LeBron first left Cleveland, remember they had to do the burning the jersey because that represented all that aspect, represented them putting through like the affliction. Remember when I was talking about the whole theme of the burning in the furnace and everything, representing the Messiah coming out like burnt bread? Hint the whole theme of this, man. This stuff is all in our face. This was a huge ritual that they do with LeBron time and time again. Some people did it when he left Florida, but mainly when he left Cleveland and joined Miami. Remember how they had to burn the jerseys. You feel what I'm saying? Because all that represents is the whole theme of the affliction. Your name, your energy. You feel where I'm going? Let's delve deeper. Now I'm about to take it deep. I'm going to cover how Allen Iverson is obviously one of LeBron's favorite players. If you know about LeBron James, you know about the Kobe, how he basically went to Lakers and he exalted Kobe. I'm gonna delve into that real deep. Now, remember when I was talking about the whole aspect of the golf, right? Remember when I was talking about that whole aspect of the Gulf of Mexico theme about why he had to go to South Beach. You feel what I'm saying? Remember when I was talking about that? Now, what I want to talk about right quick, just to show you for those, just a real quick flash. Remember, Kobe was drafted by New Orleans. And this is why, remember during the time, remember they had that Lakers theme where they was trying to get Chris Paul from New Orleans, but he ended up going to the Clippers. I'm going to get into that a little later on. But notice how Kobe was drafted 13th in the first round, right? Which is 113 in the first round by New Orleans, which is literally in the Gulf right by the oil. Now, when you go into Revelation 113, as it's written, the Son of Man clothed in a garment was in the midst of the seven candlesticks, aka the seven churches. And what I want to talk about, we already know Kobe is obviously from Philadelphia. As it's written about to the angel of the church in Philadelphia, right? These things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David, he that openeth and no man shutteth, no man shutteth and no man openeth, representing nothing but the Messiah in the church of Philadelphia. Now, what I want to talk about right quick is how Kobe obviously is called what? The Black Mamba snake. You feel what I'm saying? And when you go into John 3:14, as it's written, Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so shall the Son of Man be lifted up, aka the Black Mamba snake, aka the serpent. This is why that NBA Finals, when the Lakers played against the Heat, this is a very serious thing. Remember, because when you understand the Lakers, like the lakes, and the Heat, aka the lake of fire, that's all it's talking about. And if you remember, Kobe, when he was, remember, Lakers and Heat was ruling back in, like, what was it, 2012, 13, I think. Remember, they had Steve Nash and Dwight Howard over in LA, and how Kobe beat Dwight Howard in Orlando, and how he joined with Kobe. And then, LeBron ended up getting Dwight Howard. He ended up winning a ring with the Lakers through LeBron. This stuff is all it's all gathered together, man. It's, as fans and people who watch this game, throughout the years, it's just like, it's entertaining, but we don't understand the energy that they pushing out on us. You know what I'm saying? But what I want to talk about right quick, going back to Kobe, this is what blew my mind. When you understand this too, notice why LeBron had to get with Anthony Davis. You already know Anthony Davis' nickname is what? AD. So when you understand BC is like before Christ, and then AD like the aspect of the timeline following. You feel what I'm saying? Of the Messiah. And notice why everything is coming into fruition in this time. Like, this is a very serious time we in. And what I want to talk about too right quick, before I get even deeper on Kobe, notice Kobe played against the Boston Celtics. Remember, he lost the first time, and then the second time he had to play Orlando Magic, and then he dominated the Boston Celtics. Remember that. Remember LeBron James, that's why the Heat had to form, because remember LeBron James, he used to lose against Boston Celtics. He made the finals that one year, but remember, like, they would always continuously, it was that they would lose against Boston. Heat would lose, Raptors would lose, Cavs would lose. You feel what I'm saying? Because when you understand the Boston Celtics uses what? They use the shamrock, aka the clover leaf, and the leprechaun. You feel what I mean? What I want to talk about right quick, when you understand that whole theme of the leprechaun, it's all blasphemy of the Messiah. Because when you know about the clover leaf, right here, the shamrock, all shamrock mean is Lord of the universe. So when you understand the clover leaf is literally the same as the saint sign, like the aspect of being a saint. You feel what I'm saying? Your whole lily flower, how the Messiah sprouted as the lily. You feel what I mean? And when you understand that, how all this stuff comes together, because the leprechaun is just all blasphemy. Because when you know about the rainbow, remember during the time of Noah's Ark, you had the rainbow as the promise that the world wouldn't be destroyed by flood, by water again. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why they had to do all of this, because remember during that time too, Boston Celtics, Ray Allen was going at it with Kobe Bryant in the NBA Finals. And remember, what was Ray Allen called on the movie He Got Game? He was called Jesus. Remember that. Come on, this is why LeBron James had to ended up getting Ray Allen too. Because remember I said how the word become flesh? All of this stuff comes together, and there's no way around it. You feel where I'm going? And I'm actually going to delve deeper into this right quick, because when you understand the whole thing going back to Kobe, you remember you had in 2008 and 9, that's the year Kobe, I think he beat Orlando. When you know about that year, remember the Lakers, they played against they beat the Jazz obviously, but the first round Trailblazers lost. You know what I'm saying? The first round Trailblazers lost. Then Lakers ended up playing the Rockets, and then they ended up playing the Nuggets. Then they went and played in Orlando and won a championship. When you understand that with Lakers, this is when Kobe played. Let's look at when LeBron played. LeBron the first round, just like Kobe, Trailblazers lose. LeBron ends up beating the Rockets. LeBron ends up beating the Nuggets. And then in Orlando, this all in Orlando, he ends up winning the finals. You feel what I'm saying? Against the Miami Heat. Because remember, I was talking about how the aspect of the Heat represent the lake of fire, where what? The Son of Man should rise out of the furnace. You feel what I mean? Like, this stuff is all in our face. You feel me? And when you know about this too, notice how Kobe had to play against Orlando Magic to win his first ring. Because remember Shaq, what did they used to call him? Shaq Diesel. You feel what I'm saying? And remember how I was talking about how Kobe he played a role of the Messiah. When you understand that aspect anyway, which is so deep, because going back to the Bermuda Triangle, pointing to where? The Gulf of Mexico. Notice Kobe and Shaq both were in Louisiana. Remember Shaq used to play for who? What was he? Played for the LSU. Hit the 33 for 33 degrees of masonry. And when you connect that, you remember the capstone points obviously at the Gulf of Mexico, where Louisiana where Shaq played college in Louisiana, and Kobe was drafted by New Orleans. When you go into the aspect of the Gulf of Mexico, hint the oil, and hint, like I said, Christ means what? Nothing but like holy oil, the holy anointed. You feel where I'm going with this? All of this stuff comes together, and there's no way around it, man, because as it's written, and beside all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed. Come on, y'all. And I'm about to take this thing deep on y'all. I'm going to let this thing flow right quick, because what I want to go back to in a whole sense to a Kobe, if we all remember Kobe versus Allen Iverson, and this was a very serious finals, because what I want to talk about, remember, obviously during the time of LeBron James beating the Heat, I don't like mentioning the name, but you had obviously the big sickness going on, which messed up with everything, like you traveling and all of that. Remember during this time in 2001 when Kobe beat Allen Iverson, you had what? You had the whole theme of the 9/11, which affected security and traveling. Now notice how this all is the same story. Remember Kobe? Remember I was talking about the Church of Philadelphia. How Allen Iverson obviously played for Philadelphia, and Kobe obviously played, he's from Philadelphia. And just like what's his name? And just like this whole thing, notice how Kobe was the one to completely lock down Allen Iverson. And I want to delve into this right quick, and I want y'all to follow me. When you understand, remember when Allen Iverson crossed Jordan, right? When you go into the scriptures, remember I was talking about how LeBron James had remember he went to Miami, and I was mentioning the weight in the water. Remember in the scriptures in Joshua 3, just like they're in the same scripture of LeBron, Joshua 3, remember you had to cross the Jordan in order to get to the promised land. Hint this whole theme of crossing the Jordan, right? And when you understand it, remember Allen Iverson, they call him AI. And his mother name is Ann Iverson too. So that's AI in initials. But AI, artificial intelligence, because when you understand that, all that represents is nothing but the aspect of the God intelligence that's not of this world. You feel what I mean? Because this is written anyway, ye that are not, and if you love me, you are not a part of the world, because you gain divine wisdom. So hence why he was the way to cross the Jordan in the Church of Philadelphia. But you needed Kobe, aka the playing a role of the Son of Man, in order to win that finals, in order to win championships. You feel what I'm saying? Like, this all basically represented, like, okay, you cross out of Jordan, but you got to have the faith in the Son of Man in order to come into, reaching the promised land, reaching the kingdom. You feel, otherwise you just see the promised land, but you don't even make it. You get, this stuff is so crazy how they play us like this, because it's all in our face. And as I came to understand this stuff, it's just like, come on, man, there's no way around it. Hint why LeBron James always struggled against the Texas teams. He lost against the Spurs, and he lost against the Mavericks, Dallas Mavericks, which is nothing but the white horse. You know how the Messiah anyway rides the white horse. That's why he had to do the whole aspect of losing against the Dallas Mavericks when he was in Miami Heat, because that represented the Son of Man coming out to ride the divine white horse. This stuff is real, man. Notice he lost against three Texas teams. Yeah, he lost to them 3 times, man. The Spurs twice and Mavericks once. And when you understand that, which is so deep, is because the whole theme of the Texas, remember I've been breaking that down, how Texas is the Lone Star State. And when you understand the Messiah, what is he called? The morning star. You feel what I mean? The bright shining star, the star of Bethlehem. Like, this stuff is that deep, man. Notice why LeBron, remember when he first got with the Lakers, he was 33 years old. 33, y'all. 33 degrees of masonry. He had that growing injury. Remember, he was out that year, and then Golden State ended up playing against Toronto, a.k.a. nothing but the aspect of the beast, beating the Golden State Warriors, beating those who are refined as gold. You feel what I'm saying? Those who are sanctified, those who are the saints. And they ended up being practically going through like the persecution by the mark of the beast, a.k.a. the raptor, a.k.a. the dragon. You feel what I'm saying? But what I want to talk about, going back to the growing injury, when you understand the whole theme of the cigar, what I want to talk about right quick, when you understand the whole theme of the cigar represents nothing but like the aspect of like the penis in a sense of fertility. You know what I mean? Because when you know about the theme anyway of like in the Egypt aspect with the Osiris, remember they had to use the penis. Remember she had to get a new penis for him to bring forth Horus, bring forth like the savior aspect on that side, the left hand side. You feel everything is left and right hand side, good and evil, all duality. You feel what I'm saying? But when you understand that, hint the whole aspect of the cigar, hint the whole aspect of why LeBron, he has that growing injury, then they come back the next year and he get Anthony Davis, aka AD, and then they dominate. You feel what I'm saying? All of this stuff is all ritual, is huge rituals. Because when you understand that practically would just saying, okay, look, we're about to go into a sense now where we're about to come back and more fertile and come back stronger and renewed and reborn. Because through the penis, what happens? You obviously bring forth life. Hint the whole aspect of why Jax, the guy in the new movie Mortal Kombat who played Jax, hint why he had that movie Fall from Grace. Hint the fall from grace. Remember when I was talking about the whole aspect when you fall from grace that represent you, being misled in a sense. Remember I was doing the whole thing with the Kobe, with the artificial intelligence AI crossing the Jordan, but then you had to have faith in the Son of Man in order to come into the promised land, aka the ritual aspect of Kobe. But notice what he say on this. Listen to this.
Ashtray. Ashtray, bitch!
Notice the ashtray aspect, and when you understand that, you see how he had to be the one to play Jax. All this stuff is not by mistake, man. It's not by mistake. You feel what I'm saying? And I want to keep this thing flowing some more, because what I want to delve into right quick, what literally blew my mind too, get into a deep aspect right quick. In this video, I'm about to delve deeper, y'all. Now look, Michael Jordan, when you understand Michael Jordan, remember 1991, remember he played against the Lakers. Now this is his first finals, and notice how he plays against the Lakers, because when you understand the lakes, like I was talking about how you had the Messiah, aka the living waters, and you have him emerge, as the Son of God. You know what I mean? Hint the whole aspect of the bull against the Lakers. Now what I want to talk about right quick, when you understand scripture and Revelation 4:8, one of the forms of the Messiah is the bull, aka the ox. You feel what I'm saying? Now notice the NBA Finals 1991. After this is the first NBA Finals in 17 years that was ever, broadcasted by CBS. Now when you understand that aspect, notice how CBS, you have the all-seeing eye logo. Hint why they was practically saying you were witnessing the Son of Man come on the scene. Now what I want to talk about right quick, obviously at the time LeBron James was 7 years old. or 6 years old, about to be 7. And hint, LeBron James, his 17th year in the league, he goes to the NBA Finals and wins. Am I wrong or what? Did he not beat the Miami Heat? Hint the whole theme of the Lake of Fire again. You feel what I'm saying? Now, what I want to go to right quick on this theme, Kobe Bryant obviously grew up in Italy. That's just to prove my son of man point again. Now, when you understand the whole aspect of him growing up in Italy, remember the Messiah was crucified in Rome, man. And are we not in spiritual Babylon, spiritual Egypt, spiritual Sodom and Gomorrah? Hint why Kobe's dad played for the 76ers, a.k.a. Philadelphia 2, the Church of Philadelphia 2. Let's delve deeper. His dad played for the 76ers, and he played with Julius Erving and Moses Malone at the time. Julius, like Jew, Hebrew, Israelite Jew, and then, Moses Malone, a.k.a. like Moses. Come on, man. Hint why he played for the 76ers. Kobe is from the Church of Philadelphia, a.k.a. Philadelphia. That role he playing. And then 76ers anyway was what? 76 degrees is the top of the pyramid. Remember how I've been talking about how they want to knock the capstone off. Now, remember the last day, I think Kobe's last day allegedly before death, alleged death. Remember he went to the Philadelphia game where they beat the Los Angeles Lakers and where LeBron passed him in points. Notice why he had to go there, man, because he had to return back to the Church of Philadelphia aspect because of the 76 degrees, because he reached the top of the pyramid. None of this stuff is by mistake, man. None of this stuff is by mistake. That's why his dad name was Bean, and that's why Kobe went by the nickname Bean. Because as it's written, the Messiah shall shoot up from the stump of Jesse, man. The Spirit of the Lord will rest upon him. You feel what I'm saying? And what I want to delve into right quick, just to show this, I'm going to tell y'all something right quick. And it's a real deep theme, y'all. And I want y'all to bear with me. I'm going to play the clip and chime in.
You've talked about how important being a dad is to you. And you've been open about the fact that that's partly because you didn't know your father growing up.
Now, you notice how LeBron, obviously, they got these scripts. All of these athletes all got the same script. Now, what I want to delve into is notice how LeBron don't have his father in his life. Allen Iverson, he didn't have his father in his life. You feel what I'm saying? But what I want to talk about, notice why Kobe had his father in his life and why Jordan had his father in his life. Now, remember when I was talking about the whole theme of Michael Jordan? Remember when I was talking about he represent like the ox aspect of the Messiah? You know what I'm saying? And when you understand Kobe, remember I said how he represent the aspect of the Son of Man. You know what I mean? Now, when you understand this right here, how LeBron didn't have his father, notice the aspect of the King James. You feel what I mean? Like this stuff is literally all in our face because when you understand that through the word, you gain connection to the Father, the aspect of the King James. And remember when I was talking about Allen Iverson represented like the crossing the Jordan, but you needed the Son of Man in order to reach the Father, aka the Kobe aspect. How all of this stuff comes, they do these same stories, y'all, and this is time and time again. Because remember Jordan, when you understand scripture, how he was the bull. Now, when you remember the scripture aspect, you will know, as it's written, how the bull was sacrificed for the high priest, right? Now, when the bull was sacrificed for the high priest, remember the bull was used to, do the divine sacrifice for the Day of Atonement. And remember that, that'd be for the whole congregation, like the whole family, for his family. You feel what I mean? Because it's a royal beast. You feel what I'm saying? And hence why he had connection with his father, because through, cleansing of sins, you become close to the Father. This is why all of this stuff comes together, how they sell these stories time and time again. And what I want to talk about too, about the Kobe aspect. Remember how they said that Kobe, him and his parents wasn't talking for a while. Remember that. Now, when you pay attention to this, it's deep, y'all, because remember how they wasn't talking for a while, Ray, how they sell the stories, whether it's real or not. They sell the stories in the media because they complete these rituals. Remember when the Messiah was crucified, what happened? Remember the Most High turned his back on him. Remember that. Like this stuff all comes together and there's no way around it, man. There's no way around it, but it's all about who got the eyes to see and the ears to hear. Do you feel where I'm going with this? And I'm about to take it even deeper on y'all right quick, because what I want to talk about too is if you watch the new, obviously the new Space Jam movie that's about to come out. Remember, Jordan had the Space Jam, and LeBron James obviously had the Space Jam. Now, when the Space Jam was coming out, it was, remember, during the time of Space Jam back in '96, you had Bill Clinton in office, right? And then when you look at it, you got who now? You got Biden just got in office. That same year, both of the years was when the presidents came into office. It's no mistake, man. Because when you know about the original Space Jam, remember the players were like, remember Jordan had to go through the rabbit hole, which Bugs Bunny ain't represent nothing but the Messiah anyway. That's why they used to do that's why they used to wear the top hat, like Lincoln and them, because they was trying to keep the aspect of you reaching the coming into the truth. Because when you go through the rabbit hole, you know what I mean, things will be revealed, the truth will be revealed. That's why they used to always want to kill Bugs Bunny. But I'm gonna delve deep into this because all of these players right here, the monsters, represented nothing but the consciousness of, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, and all them guys. Because if you remember the movie Us, remember you had the subconscious and the conscious self battling each other, fighting each other. Remember that, the doppelganger aspect, the duality. But I'm going to play the clip right quick and chime on in.
You got amazing potential on the court, and I can help you get there.
That's not what I want, Dad. You never let me do what I want to do. You never let me just do me.
Notice that. Listen to this.
Hold up.
Notice that right there, that whole symbol right there, because all that represents is nothing but the whole theme of the Masonic compass, man.
Wrong floor.
Get to the point.
What in the Matrix hell?
Listen to that.
Welcome to the basketball. Pete, send this clown to the rejects.
Wait.
They serve reverse.
What'd you do to my son? Where's Dom?
See how he trying to get his son
The
back?
only way you're getting your son back is if you and I play a little basketball. Pete, send this clown to the rejects.
See how he got to play the whole thing, but only way he can get his son back is by going through the rabbit hole. Because when you know about this anyway, remember the guy talking is War Machine, Don Cheadle, War Machine on Iron Man. And when you understand the whole aspect of the Iron Man is nothing but what? The whole, the transhumanism. And them already saying that they want to get LeBron James' son anyway because they want to increase the assimilation. This is why they dropping this movie at the end of his career. Practically the end of his career. Because when you notice, remember Duke and everyone was trying to get hold of LeBron James' son. You know what I mean? All of this comes together, man, because they already know they want to keep their kingdom going and they want to use the sun to keep it flowing. You feel what I'm saying? Notice he said, I want to do what I want to do. You get what I mean? Let's delve even deeper into this, man. Now, if you remember back in '96, obviously like the best draft of all time, you had Allen Iverson, Vince Carter. I think Vince Carter came in that draft. You got Kobe, etc. All them high-level players, because all the people who really played these roles, notice how they came out in the Jordan time. Now, during LeBron James era, you have who? You got Ja Morant and Zion Williamson. You feel what I'm saying? You know how Zion is like the biggest name in the draft since, LeBron James, like the most anticipated. Now, what's so deep about that when you understand that anyway, Mount Zion represents nothing but the kingdom. Hint William's son. Remember, I've been talking about the whole theme of Exodus 3:14 when the Most High tells Moses that my name is I am that I am. Hint William's son, the son of William, and how his name is Zion. This is not by mistake. And this is why him and Ja Morant is practically grew up in the same area, not far from each other in South Carolina. Because when you understand that anyway, Ja Morant, Ja, aka the aspect of Yah, you feel what I'm saying? When you understand that anyway, Ja, and then when you understand that anyway, because what I want to talk about right quick, as it's written in scripture, Ja Morant plays where? He plays in Memphis. And remember when I was talking about New Orleans? The whole aspect of the New Orleans theme with the Bermuda Triangle. I've been breaking this down throughout this whole video. Remember when I was talking about the whole aspect of the Gulf and the anointing oil? How the whole aspect of the Christ and why Shaq and Kobe both had to come from, that area. When you pay attention to this is real deep because notice how Ja Morant plays in Memphis, which is what? Like Memphis, Egypt. And it looks just like the Nile River. The Mississippi River looks just like the Nile River over in Egypt. But when you understand that, notice in Matthew 2:15, as it's written, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, out of Egypt have I called my son. Remember, the Messiah had to flee to Egypt. Remember that. He was in Egypt for a while. You feel what I'm saying? And his last name is Morant because, as it's written anyway, the name Morant don't mean nothing but enduring and, to settle. Because what it's practically saying is like, out of Egypt shall Zion, you know what I mean? You get where how we in spiritual Egypt, and how out of Egypt we going to be called into the land of Zion. You feel what I mean? I'm going to delve into this right quick before I wrap this video up. But when you know about anyway right now, anyway, you got New York Knicks. You have who? You got Obadiah Toppin, and you have Emmanuel Quickly. Now, what I want to talk about, going back to the Obi Toppin, remember I was talking about the whole aspect of like the capstone, the top of the capstone that the Illuminati wanted to knock off. Remember I was talking about the whole thing with the Illuminati pyramid. You feel what I'm saying? Representing nothing. The capstone, the top of the pyramid, representing nothing but the Messiah. Now, what's so deep about this? Notice this all came during LeBron James' era, because the King James word is becoming flesh. Everything is manifesting. They just trying to use it for their kingdom to distract the people so that they be misled into the aspect of being doomed and destroyed. And it's sad, you know what I mean? How they deceive us like this. But when you understand it, Emmanuel Quickly and Obadiah Toppin. Now, Obadiah Toppin, he was drafted in the first round and the 8th pick, right? That's 1-8. Notice Obadiah 1-8, as it's written anyway, that the Most High was saying that, in that day he shall destroy. This was talking about Edom in that time, but I'm talking about like in a sense of like the aspect of destroying. You feel what I mean? It's all in our face. You feel what I'm saying? Because this stuff is all in our face, how they practically is saying everything is coming ahead. Hint the whole aspect of Emmanuel Quickly, right? Quickly meaning steadfast, hurrying up. Now look at this right quick. He was drafted first round and pick number 25. Now when you go into Matthew 1:23, his name is Emmanuel now. Matthew 1:23, behold, a virgin shall be with child and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which being interpreted as God is with us. Then Joseph raised up from his sleep, did as the angel of the Lord had told him, and took unto him his wife, and knew her not until she brought forth her firstborn son, and he called his name Yahushua. Come on, y'all. This stuff is all in our face, and there's no way around it. You feel what I mean? There's no way around this stuff. Now remember you had Kobe Bryant when I was talking about, get back to that trade aspect right quick, and just to prove my point. Remember you had Kobe Bryant when the New Orleans Hornets, they wanted to send Chris Paul to the Lakers. Now remember they had David Stern, because New Orleans is owned by the NBA. This is why I'm telling you this is very important. Now New Orleans, like I was talking about, represent the is in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, when you understand Louisiana, the name Louisiana, it comes from nothing but Lewis, a.k.a. nothing but the Lewis stone being the stone that the Freemasons would have knocked off, like I've been talking about this whole time, the top capstone, a.k.a. the Messiah, the Lewis stone. Now, when you understand that, going back to the aspect of the Hornets right quick and Chris Paul, remember how Chris Paul, they didn't want to go, they didn't want him to trade with Kobe. Hence, his name is Chris, a.k.a. short for Christ. They didn't want him trading with Kobe because what that represents, he used to play for New Orleans Hornets. And what that represents in the scriptures of the Exodus, this shows there, and this is all symbolism of why they want to like stop the Messiah from coming into power. Because notice in Exodus 23:28, during the time of the Exodus, remember the Most High had sent hornets to literally protect Israel, in the time of the Exodus. So this is them trying to say, look, we don't want you we ain't trying to have him take our kingdom away. Let me delve deeper right quick. Now notice instead of him going to the Lakers, he went to the Clippers. And I'm about to delve into this because when you understand Clippers, remember they got their name from like the ship, the great selling ships. They went to like the Bay Area. Now what I want to talk about, remember I was talking about the aspect how he played for the Hornets and how the Hornets represented like, the aspect of the Israel and the nations conjoined to Israel, going through the Exodus. You feel what I'm saying? Now, what I want to talk about right quick, going back to the aspect of the Clippers, meaning nothing but the ship in the sea, hint in 2nd Ezra 13, as it's written, the figure of a man coming out of the heart of the sea, that was man was flying among the clouds of heaven, wherever he turned his face to look, everything that fell under him gaze trembled, right? Right here, I said, Supreme Lord, show me why I saw a man rising up from the heart of the sea. He said to me, just as no one can seek out or know what is in the depth of the sea, so no one on earth can see my son or those who are with him, except in that time when a day has come. Right? Now I'm going to delve deep into that right quick. Hint the whole aspect of why they sent Chris Paul, aka Christ, that whole role he playing into the deeper into the sea, because they didn't want, him to join up with the Lakers, because through the lakes shall the man be revealed. Hint Kobe. Remember I said he played the role of the Son of Man. This is a big ritual they did back then, man. This is why they didn't let it happen, because remember when I was talking about it, the man out the sea, going back to the Bermuda Triangle, the capstone pointing towards the Gulf, aka Mexico. Hint New Orleans is in the Gulf, aka what? The land of what? The area of the oil, the Christ, the anointing oil. As it's written, as the Most High says, between us and you there is a great gulf fixed. And I'm about to end that right here. Thank you for watching Hide and Seek TV. This right here is a serious video, man. Much more is coming. Peace.